Why is it when you need a miracle, it doesn't happen, but when you least expect it, it happens?
You are married. You have challenges in your relationship, but your spouse is unwilling to accede to any counseling. Is divorce an option?
How does a parent handle a promiscuous child?
What are considered the do's and don'ts of a born-again couple who is not yet married?
There are always more questions than answers. So here is Apostle Jemma.
Grace and peace to you. Welcome to Ask Pastor Jemma. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me this afternoon. My prayer for you is that you'll walk in the light of God's goodness. The Bible talks about allowing His countenance to shine upon you, and that. But my prayer is for you because it simply means that you will be walking in God's favor. I pray for inner strength for you, because there are times we face so many challenges, and if we're not strong in the inner man, we would not be able to negotiate these very difficult times. One of the things that we have to keep in mind is that the Bible promises, God's word promises us that He will never leave us nor forsake us. In our good times, in our bad times, in our worst of times, God is with us. Holy Spirit is there through the difficult paths that we may take. If you're a first timer, my name is Jemma Duncan. My husband, Apostle Vivian Duncan, and myself are the pastors of Divine Destiny Worship Center. Our headquarters is located on the Diego Martin Main Road opposite Sardonyx Drive in Trinidad. And we have branches in Sangre Grande, in Shoguanas, in Faizabad. There's a branch in Tobago, and one on the island of Antigua. Our service is Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. in every branch, live and online as well. And our office hours are from Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the business center is open from Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Two very important announcements. The newest book from Donald Duncan, our eldest son, and the promo will give you the information. And our second son and his wife with the marriage confessional on TTT. So please wait for that announcement sometime in the program. Last time we started to talk about a three-part question. I didn't expect it to take that long. And the question is, how does one negotiate the early stages of a relationship without becoming too emotionally invested before there is clarity and direction about where the relationship is going? That's part one. Is it necessary to wait for the man to define or clarify the direction of the relationship? And then part three is it appropriate for a woman to ask if the relationship is going somewhere? And last time we talked about part one. We looked at what are some of the things that are necessary when we negotiate in the early parts of a relationship. And I suggested from the time you begin to have feelings for somebody, don't confess those feelings to the person because you don't know if it's reciprocated. But go to somebody, an elder, your pastor, somebody so designated, somebody who's married for a while, and ask that person, how do I negotiate this? I'm looking at this brother and, I find myself attracted to him. He doesn't have a clue. He has not declared anything to me as well. Oh, I like sister so-and-so, I'm looking at her. And that's a good way to go. And that individual that you confide in will be able to help you to negotiate your pathway there. We suggested that you set boundaries for yourself. It's early yet in the game. And keep those boundaries. Try to avoid any kind of physical activities, because physical touching, especially if you have not been physical for a while, could become very explosive and it could cloud the decisions that you make. You don't think right, you can't see red flags and everything when we get our emotions and involved, and you actually open up Pandora's box and you wake up certain feelings and stuff in your body that needed to stay at bay at the time. Avoid being alone with that person. Try to mix and mingle in crowds, especially in church. We have all kinds of activities where you can pay attention to that individual. Listen to when they're talking to you and listen to when they're talking to other people. Look at how They treat others, pay attention to their views on people in authority from the home, the church, their workplace, the nation, and so on. See if you could get some ideas as to how they treat with money, their money management, and what about prayer and Bible reading? How disciplined is that person with church attendance as well? So those are some of the things we talked about, and you can just check YouTube as Pastor Jemma and get the date, and you will get all the details. So let's look at the second part of the question, and it says, is it necessary to wait for the man to define or clarify the direction of the relationship? I would say that you try not to seek clarification and some kind of definition for the relationship too quickly. Because remember, you are saying it's the early part of the relationship. I mean, you just meet that person. And what clarification you want? That person is just talking to you. You're developing some kind of friendship. We in the stage of getting to know you. Don't jump be the person. That is the term I would use. Because what you could do is frighten off that individual when you start to ask him or her for clarification. What do you mean? Like clarification, what do you want me to see? You're looking for a proposal already. I mean, we went out once, we went out twice, I don't know. Or we have been talking a little bit. I'm interested in you, I like your company, and so on and so forth. Give that individual a chance to clarify the relationship in their own head first. When it's too early, and you accost that person, and I will use the word accost because it's just too early, that person may not be able to give you a satisfactory answer because he or she, has not clarified it in their own head. They don't know. They like you. They like your company. They like spending time with you. They like talking to you, and so on and so forth. But in their minds, they don't know where this relationship is going simply because, like you, that person is feeling you out, getting to know you. All the questions and suggestions I made, as you are treating with that individual, that person is also listening to you, studying you, and looking for certain qualities that they feel they would want in a lifetime partner. So take your time with asking for definition. Before you even go there, there are certain things that you want to find out before you look to define, is that person financially viable? And you could observe, is that person employed? What kind of employment? Eventually you're listening, so you're going to hear that the person is employed. You will probably find out where that person is working. You want to find out if that person lives with their parents, what kind of responsibility they may have, obligations to their parents and the home, and could they now take the responsibility of taking care of somebody else with whatever it is, the responsibility that they have in the home. Does that person own a home or their own place, their own apartment, and can they actually pay for the apartment? Does the person own a car? Is that person able to pay all those things, and so on? And that's very important before you ask the person to clarify the relationship. I want to know, if we go any further, if we get serious, are you able to now contribute towards the upkeep of a home, by yourself, apart from your family, and so on and so forth. Things like, was he married before? No. Again, those are some of the things that you're going to find out when you have these conversations. Some people make presumptions, and some people show your hand and not realize that sometimes somebody is being nice to you. That person is still married. Sometimes that person, the wife or husband, is at home. That person doesn't come to church. The spouse doesn't come to church, but the person is still married. And really, it's unethical to approach somebody and create the idea that you're interested in them when you have a wife or a husband at home. That's wrong. And that is why we talked about initially, go to the pastor or somebody for some counsel in the very, very early stage. If you go to the pastor to say, I'm interested in brother so-and-so, I'm interested in sister so-and-so, chances are that the pastor would be aware that that person is married. And would tell you, you know what, the brother has a wife. I don't know what impression he has given to you, but there is a wife and family involved. All right? And so you have to back off from that, be very careful. with that relationship, because it doesn't seem to have much of a future if there's a wife or a husband and family involved there. That's not where you want to go in terms of a relationship. Does he have children, or does she have children? And again, all that is in the early stages. You're not asking too many questions, but you're listening to that person talk. And if that person is talking, they would mention children and so on and so forth and all of that. So you have to listen. Because remember, you are trying to gauge, is this a relationship that I would want to personally pursue as a lifelong commitment? If that person is not married, or no, was that person ever married? Is that person divorced? And if the person was married, and divorce, is the divorce final? Is it just a separation? There are some people who get involved with somebody and the person is just separated. And when it reaches stage of marriage, then they come to the pastor, and the pastor says, well, where is your decree? Nisi, or whatever is the exact term. And, there are preliminary decrees, and then there is the final one that must be brought. And then is when sometimes people now have to go to get that, because legally you cannot get married if the divorce is not final and settled. So those are some conversations that you have to have. You have to listen to the person talking about previous relationship and so on and so on. Then what other baggage is that individual bringing into the relationship? Because there are a number of emotional baggage that could come into the relationship, a number of things, right? The thing is, I would say getting to know you could take 6 months or more. So that's why it's very important not to get physical too soon. It could take more than that, 6 months. It could take a year to get to this place where you're thinking about, confronting the person, or asking the person or the man to define or clarify the relationship. Give it some time, and if you see that person is interested in you, you're spending time together, then is when you could probably go slowly, go gently into the night, as they say, with your questioning and the information that you may want. One of the things I have a problem with is some men dragging the relationship for years. Some people 3 years, some people 7 years. And when I've seen where quite a long period, and when the woman finally, after 2 years, 3 years, or whatever time, you are asking for clarification, he comes to say he's engaging you. So he comes with an engagement ring. This engagement ring has no end game. There is no time span when you come with the engagement ring. And many times, to me, when I listened and the woman is very excited how they're engaged and and so on, he just wants you off his back. And he doesn't have any intention of getting married for quite a while. Again, in divine destiny, engagement, you cannot be engaged and you don't have dates for marriage and all of that. From the time you are engaged, the marriage, preparation for marriage begins. And you can't, Apostle Vivian will allow you to come with an engagement ring and there is no set wedding date down the road. Where you've started to put things in place and bands are put up and yeah. So that engagement can be 7 years and 3 and 4 years you engage just to keep me off your back when I decide that I want clarification on this relationship, where we going with it, how many years going down the road, and I'm stuck with you. We become exclusive when the years pass. Nobody else is interested in me because they know that I'm with you. But, there seems to be no future in this relationship. At that point, you have to say something, right? And don't be content with an engagement ring when there is no time for wedding. So when he decides to get engaged, then you're coming to the pastor, because you will have spoken to him already, both of you, and you now setting a wedding date. So come with date and time. They will tell you what you have to do, how to put up bands, what plans you have to put in place, and give you counseling. Now begin serious counseling for marriage, and you have to go through this period of counseling. You have to cover a number of topics and so on and so forth. And then is when we start to dig deep and, delve into the person's business. I know some people were upset with Vivian because they find he getting too intrusive. Well, yeah, if you come to say you're engaged and you want to marry somebody, we dig in. Because we want to ensure that things are how it should be. Okay, so let's see if I could finish off the third part. Is it appropriate to ask if the relationship is going somewhere? For the woman, that is. Yes. You can initiate some kind of forward movement or acceleration in a relationship that you find is slow. Remember I said 6 months, a year pass, and he ain't really saying nothing, and so on. Yeah, you have to find out where we going with this. Is this something that you want to continue? Why is it the hesitation? Is it because some people, they like studying in university? It's a 4-year course and you only done 2. So we know that 2 years, you might need 2 years to complete the course or whatever else that you have to do. So there has to be some justifiable reason why this person is prolonging this whole relationship without saying exactly where we're heading. Your life is at stake, your future is at stake. I'm talking to the women now. And the Bible gives an example in the book of Ruth in chapter 3. Most of you would be familiar with Naomi and Ruth. In Ruth chapter 1, Naomi, her husband, and 2 sons left Bethlehem, Judah, where there was a famine, and went down to Moab to escape the famine. It didn't quite work out for them. The sons married Moabitess women, but unfortunately for Naomi and her 2 daughters-in-law, her husband died, and the 2 sons died, and so 3 widows were left. Finally, Naomi heard that things had gotten better in Jerusalem, and she decided to go back home. The daughters-in-law initially wanted to go with her. She tried to convince them to go back to their homes because she had nothing to offer. One daughter-in-law, Oprah, she decided to go back home, and Ruth, who is the main character in the book of Ruth, decided she would stay with her and she wouldn't leave her. And so she went back to Jerusalem with her. And one of the things that Ruth said, well, she embraced Naomi's God and her family and so on. When they reached there, of course, they got back their property. It was in disrepair and all of that. And Ruth had to go, and there's a practice that they did called gleaning, where you had to go in a field and they would allow poor people, widows and all of that, and strangers to glean. They would leave certain parts of the field where people can get some food. And she started doing that. Then Ruth realized that the field in which she was gleaning belonged to a family member of Naomi's husband named Boaz. Somebody who is obligated to help them in these difficult times, right? So Naomi decided that she would strategize for Ruth to help her to get her husband. And so in chapter 3, she says, you know what, I have to do something about getting this girl settled. I'm old. She's been very good to me. I need to get her settled. And she prepped her and she said, wash yourself, talking about personal hygiene, anoint yourself, creams and perfumes and all of that, smell good. Put on your raiment. And Vivian likes to say, there's a difference between clothes and raiment. Clothes is regular. You go to work with clothes. You go to the mall sometimes with clothes. When you're talking raiment, raiment is a different level. And so we make joke as to, he will put on an outfit and we consider, you see, that is raiment. So Naomi said to her, dress yourself. Physical appearance is absolutely important. And then she said, when they had the festival, go and lay at his feet, wait, let him eat, make sure his belly is full, eat and drink. And then when he go to lie down in the field, because apparently that was the practice, go and uncover his feet and lay at his feet. I don't know that that is something that we could do today because it's dangerous. You could get yourself in trouble. That's not advice that I would give to any young person today. So that I'm just trying to say that you can initiate, make a move in the relationship. I'm not saying that you're going to do exactly what was done here. The personal hygiene, taking care of yourself, and physical appearance, dressing yourself well, all that could apply. But going at his feet and so on, not really. But it was a symbol of humility. And Ruth did exactly what Naomi told her, and the rest was history. She ended up marrying the guy. They had a child, and she became an ancestor of Jesus Christ. So I'm telling you this whole story, and you could read it for yourself in the book of Ruth in the Old Testament, so that a female can initiate something in the relationship. If you find that the man is a little slow, he could be shy and so on, then you make a move. But of course you have to be crafty, you have to use wisdom, those soup on him and chase him off. Use a little craftiness. And Naomi, as an older woman, was able to guide Ruth through that whole process. So many marriages are failing in the church today. So it is very important for you to seek counsel very early in the game. Even when you sense attraction to somebody before, you actually start to talk to each other. And one of the big things is that you have to take the advice that is given. Many people come for advice, but they don't take the advice. They come, they have in their minds what they want to do. They want to, hurry up with this relationship. And when you tell them 6 months to wait, to pay attention, and all the things that I am going to say doesn't go down well with them, and they go ahead and make the move and regret the move that they make.
Watch your money works it out. Work it out. Watch your money works it out. Work it out. Watch your money works it out. I've been pushing past the fear. I've been fighting to believe. Oh, He's making ways for me. Yeah, and He won't let me down. No, He'll never ever leave. No, He's still making ways for me. He's still making ways. My faith is running out. I'm too far to turn around. I know that God will work it out. I believe that God will work it out. One thing I know, one thing I found. Yeah, God will work it out. Be still, my soul.
What if the place you've been buried is not your end, but the beginning of your resurrection? There are places in the heart that no one sees. Caves formed by pain, sealed by trauma, and hidden behind stones we learn to carry just to survive. In The Cave and the Stone, Dr. Angel Duncan unveils a powerful truth through the story of Lazarus. It is possible to be called alive and still be bound. Many believers have received life in Christ, yet remain emotionally entombed, covered by stones of grief, shame, fear, denial, and silent wounds that were never healed. But Jesus does not only call you out of the grave, He commands that the stone be rolled away. We must make the decision to do so. With prophetic clarity and deep insight, this book will confront what has been hidden, uncover what has been buried, and guide you into a place of true healing and wholeness. This is not just a message. It is a call. A call to come out of hiding. A call to confront what you covered. A call to let God touch the places you learned to protect. The cave is not your final place. The stone is not your permanent covering. Resurrection is not just an event. It is your invitation. The Cave and the Stone. Resurrection of the Heart is available now at Amazon.com and all major online booksellers. Pick up your copy today. Who is a leader? And what does leadership look like? Are leaders born? Or are they made? After 3 years and thousands of hours of research, author Duncan returns with his brand new book, A New Mindskin Leadership Superpowers, 100 Governance Proverbs for the Marketplace. While each leader's journey is unique, there are some common principles which govern all leadership: good character, team building, change and crisis management, strategic thinking, upskilling yourself, emotional intelligence, communication, leading leaders, self-improvement, and doing the work. These form the 10 sections of the book, which each contain 10 chapters, followed by 3 superpower activation questions which help you immediately apply these principles to your own life. A New Mindskin Leadership Superpowers will be available in paperback, hardcover, ebook, and audiobook formats at Amazon.com, Audible, and all major online booksellers. Visit Amazon.com to order your copy today.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are the Duncans. Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
I really hope that I helped you. And remember what Jesus said. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me.